Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. That's Jordan Simpson. Manchester United 3, Reading 1.
Dub.
Done. Yeah? We're through to the 5th round of the FA Cup without too many dramas either, George. It wasn't like a little bit of a boring first half. A goal chalked off for Marcus Rashford, which would have given him the record outright, which is a bit of a shame for the most consecutive goals at home by a Manchester United player. But once the second half got underway, United just stepped it up a gear. Reading didn't really have much to offer. I know they got a goal, but between us scoring 3 and them getting that goal, they also had Andy Carroll sent off, which didn't help their cause at all. So, yeah, it was a relatively okay day at the office, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it was all right.
Run of the mill.
I remember you got it right to a point in the watch-along. You said 60 minutes, they'll dust, they'll get tired. We were 2-0 up by 60 minutes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So,
you've
got some ball knowledge up here.
I did a little bit, yeah. I thought, as often happens when you see some of these cup games, you've watched loads of them, you see them, and there's that sort of energy you get and that excitement you get from a team that's lower down the leagues, facing a Premier League team and facing a big team, and it carries you so far. And there's two things. There's one, you run out of steam, and there's the second thing is, once you concede, your game plan and everything is out the window, and also you're a bit deflated because it's like you're chasing a game now. And to be fair to Reading, you gave United a little bit of something to think about with their goal later on, but by that time it was too little too late. I want to talk obviously about Casemiro. We'll get to Fred in a minute as well. The 2 Brazilian goal scorers, and Antony as well, who got man of the match. Very much a Brazilian samba soccer flair today. Casemiro, we know how good he is, don't we? And for a team like Reading, he's always going to shine, but he's not someone you'd associate with getting goals.
Not from the 6th position. No.
Yeah.
We said it on the live stream. We still can't believe we've got him. How he's playing for us. It's still a myth. Still surprising because he shows up and he turns up every week and proves just how good he is. And he was probably considered the least technically gifted of the 3 at Real. He's come in here and he's slotted straight in like he's at home. It shows how much of a good player he is. But I mean, 2 goals. I think he's very, very hard done by not getting man of the match, considering some of the shots Antony had in that first half. Something like 15 shots. Blazing up over, wide. It was a good pass to him, to be fair, for the first goal. It was a fantastically taken goal as well. But he should be nowhere near that man of the match spot. It's the one thing that's probably annoyed me.
Really?
And he lost the goal scorer for the goal for Reading off the corner. He started jogging back when the ball was mid-flight and he was about to head it with no man on him because he was the man. He was that guy. And he just jogged back. I'm annoyed now. I managed to annoy myself.
I'm kind of pleased he did because he gets a little bit of stick, Antony, and I think that giving him the man of the match people can go, well, that was a good game, he got man of the match, so he's not getting as much stick. Obviously Casemiro gets his brace. Fred as well. Me and you were talking on the watch along, and do you think we were asking about the question about Fred's future at United? You said you think that past the summer he has got a future at United under Ten Hag. I said that it's not that I don't want him to have a future at Manchester United, it's just I don't know if he has, because I just feel like I feel like there might be a bit of a clear out in the summer and he might be one of the ones to go, because I just think he's a good player, a good squad player, but I just don't know. I just don't know if Eric Ten Hag will look at him and go, he's someone I can rely on if I've got injuries.
See, I always think the word clear out's used too much by all us lot, because when was the last time we actually saw a clear out of like players, all load of first teamers going? I can't remember the last time. When
the summer just gone?
What, we lost Mata and
Matic and Pogba and
Lingard
Lingard and Cavani.
I'll admit when I might be wrong. Okay, right. Apart from that one, when have we had a clear out first team?
To be fair, they all were out of contract, but they all left.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You're right, and that's the reason why. That's the reason why I don't think.
I noticed what happened in the summer when we lost about 8 first team players.
Hey, apart from that one, right? Can't remember the last time it happened.
No,
anyway,
that was different because obviously we didn't get rid of it. It's different, isn't it, when you leave on a...
No, but the comment still stands.
On the thing. So it will be different if you've got players like, there's talk of maybe McTominay going, there's talk of Fred maybe going, there's talk of Weghorst not going but not getting renewed, I think would be the right way to look at it. Maybe even Andy Martial, has been suggestions if he can't get fit. that he's going to be someone that the manager thinks they can't rely on. So I get where you're coming from. Get involved in the chat and the comments. I'll get in some of the comments and we'll see what you guys thinking. Let us know about Fred. Let us know about Casemiro. Let us know about Antony. There's a bit of a anti-chat going on. Renato Tello says, Antony could tighten some loose screws and he'll be cooking. Peter Griffith says, boys from Brazil, Antony, Casemiro, Fred, brilliant. Jesse Taylor says, Antony played well tonight, but Cass was class again. Max K says, Scotty, Maguire, Lindelof, Elanga. I think it's those players that are going to come, come the summer. Who impressed you when he came on, other than Fred? Was there anyone who did anything? Because it's weird, you're coming on against Reading, and I always think you're on a hiding to nothing, because if you do well, people go, it's only Reading. Yeah. And if you don't do it, then people go, why can't you do something against Reading? And it's almost like, you can't win. I always think, does it tell you anything?
No, I know what you mean. I was happy to see Maino come on, because I think there's a player in there. A good holding player in there.
Very good.
And it was the right time to bring him on. You've 3-1 up, 15 minutes or so. Get him on and just see how they can do. He kept things ticking. He was never put a foot wrong. He was good. Going into tackles as well. I think he was okay. Rest of him, no, really. Nothing really sparked my interest as such. I'd argue just maybe that's enough to send Elanga out on loan, send Pulisic out on loan, if we can. Because I can't see them coming off the bench in the bigger games and really making the impacts that we want off a bench player. Garnacho, I can see it because he's done it already this season. But I think Elanga needs to go on loan. He needs to play 19 games in a domestic season somewhere where he can hit the ground running. Maybe Germany or something like that. But
no, I know what you mean. I think one thing sometimes you say with these games, I'm not saying it's the case, but sometimes you go, these games don't show you that someone is good enough for United, but they might show you that someone isn't quite ready yet. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think you go, well, that's it, I'm convinced now that they're good enough because they've come on and had a stormer against Reading. But if they come on and they're a bit quieter and you think, actually, they probably need a low move, it can have that effect, these types of games. We've got some quotes. Harry Maguire, who is the club captain. I remember in the chat, people saying, why is he captain? If he plays, he's captain. Says, after the match, I've looked after myself, working hard in training. The lads who have been playing well. I'm a player, 29 years old, and I haven't really been in this position in my career. It's a position that I don't want to get used to, but it's part of football. I'm pushing and training well. We know at this club we need competition for places. You were saying, sort of during the watch-along, that you feel like Maguire could end up just becoming 5th or even 6th, as you were saying. You think he's just like being pushed down that pecking order. Yeah. You don't think he's got much of a future at United?
I can't see it because when you think Lindelof said of him and he was still a little bit shaky the last game, and today he didn't really stand out as much, but he's still shaky. Martinez and Varane is quite clearly the best partnership we've got at the football club. They complement each other so well and they play together well, which is the main thing. And when you've got youngsters coming through, I'm not classing Tuanzebe as a youngster because he's been here a few years now, but you think when Ten Hag could be given a proper opportunity, Maguire, we know how much stick he gets off us, lot off everyone else. So I just think Ten Hag will go, we'll dead it naturally and professionally, and we'll go, you go somewhere else. Spurs, Leicester, we were talking about on the live stream before.
Yeah.
But I cannot see him being here next season. And if he is, I think the captaincy will change. That's what I think will happen.
I kind of understand that. I agree with you on the first part. I don't think he'll be here next season. I think he's someone who wants to play for England as well, and he'll have half an hour in England sort of situation. I think he was a little bit fortunate this season in the sense that the World Cup was in November, so not being first choice, and he played a few games anyway, but not being necessarily first choice for United didn't matter as much because he'd only missed a few games. Where if the World Cup had been in the summer and you've not played for your team for 4 or 5 months, which is what could happen leading into this summer, then Gareth Southgate may have looked at it differently. I know Gareth Southgate does rate him, so I feel like that probably did him a favour. We'll have some quotes from Ten Hag in a minute as well. I'm just going to get into some of the chat. Jason the cool kid, says I'd sell Maguire and Lindelof. A lot of people saying as well they trust Ten Hag, they trust what he's doing, and if Ten Hag thinks this, then they'll go with it. Do you know what I mean? Which again, I'm kind of with. I think Ten Hag is just a manager who you can trust, can't you? You can think this guy knows what he's doing.
They're just showing these pictures again. We've seen this interview with Johan Cruyff and Ten Hag when he was younger. How many times now? Right, we get it. He schooled
This is the
him.
one that Joe Maguire was asking. Is that Erik Ten Hag? Well, yes, obviously. Otherwise, it's the most random clip ever. Like, here's just some small Dutch child asking a question to Johan Cruyff. We'll just show this in the middle of the game for no reason whatsoever.
Honestly. Why they showed it in the middle of an interview as well, it blows my mind. But anyway, he has give us that sort of confidence where he could make any decision and you'd go, well, if he thinks it's right, that's sound. And I think to how he dealt with the whole thing with Cristiano Ronaldo, the interview, the process of getting him out, when Marcus Rashford was late, one disciplinary 45 minutes off the bench, he still scored, so he's pissed off that he's not starting. You know, he knows how to deal with these players. He's dealt with the biggest personalities, arguably in football already, 6 months at United. So
yes.
Any decision that he makes that he thinks will be correct, and it ties into what we were saying before about the topic of Jadon Sancho, because we all know there was a little bit of speculation about he could be involved against Reading. Ten Hag teased it himself. Obviously, he wasn't in the squad today. And if he thinks that's what he needs to do with him, absolutely fine. And it's what Joe Maguire mentioned before about how if he can get brought on during the Notts Forest game, if we still got a good commendable lead sort of 15, 20 minutes before you bring him on, he's in them celebrations. We're going back to Wembley for the first time in sort of 3 or 4 years or so. It'll do nothing but positively help his confidence, you know, because from whatever reason he's been out for, you can't rush him back into it because he's had 3 months out. Whatever's happened is obviously very, very serious. So Ten Hag will be looking after him very, very hard, if that makes sense. He'll be making sure he's out absolutely 100% before he even involves him.
100%. I've got some quotes here from Erik Ten Hag. He says, his aim is to win titles. We are here to win trophies. We have to work hard. On Casemiro's first goal, he said some good Brazilian combination. I think it was Antony won it with the pass. And he's also speaking about Antony. He said, I think he's growing. We want him to be more dynamic and direct. We are happy with his improvement, but there is more to come. Big potential, and he has to develop every day. And I'm confident that Erik Ten Hag will develop him as well. He's obviously a player that he knows from his Ajax days. He wanted him. There was a chance or there's an opportunity, or a decision, I should say, where it was going to be, you could have gone and got Gakpo instead. I think we easily could have got Gakpo if we'd wanted him rather than Antony, especially when you look at the money we paid for Antony. But Erik Ten Hag stuck to his guns and said, no, Antony's the player that I want. So he knows exactly what this kid is about, and he was confident that he could come to Old Trafford and do a job. And I think so far he's done all right. I think there's obviously, he's not been perfect, and there's some games where he's drifted out of the game a little bit, that's safe to say. And I think his end product does need a little bit of working on because some of his finishing is just not good enough. But there's a player there, I think. And again, it goes back to that thing. I trust Erik Ten Hag when he says, that's the guy I want. He brings him in for a reason.
Why would you pay £85 million for someone you were unsure about? You know, like you mentioned, we could have got Gakpo, who was having a fantastic season prior to the World Cup and everything. He smashed it at the World Cup. His stocks were never as high. We could have got him for something like 35, 40 million, that what Liverpool ended up paying for him. But Ten Hag wanted Antony. He's known him from Ajax, as you mentioned, and it will take him time to settle. He's only 22 as well. You know, it's a different league entirely. It's so much quicker, so much more physical than the Eredivisie. So I know everyone, it's the same conversation with Sancho. Everyone's sort of stressing, but just give him time because, yes, he looks a little bit shaky, but once he hits the ground running, don't forget he scored against big teams this season. Arsenal, City, he scored against big teams, and just give him a little bit of time. Don't give him so much stick as what Joe Maguire would do, as we saw with him with his comments on Antony. Just stick by him, and he'll come good. He'll come good.
Just on Casemiro as well, Ten Hag said, we know he's a great player. In midfield at Madrid, with Kroos and Modric, he was great. I think he enjoys it offensively when he can come in. Looking at ITV have got our fixtures on their board, and it says here, if you look, we've got Forest at home, Palace at home, Leeds at home, Leeds away, and then we've got Barcelona away, Leicester at home, Barcelona at home. Those are the next sort of running games. The league games are winnable. You look at those league games, especially, and you go, we can win the next sort of few league games, 5 league games. I think the tough one, obviously, is the Barcelona double header. Yeah. The Forest one is obviously the League Cup, which we're already 3-0 up. So I'd be amazed if we didn't go through in that one. So this is an opportunity now for United to keep this momentum going, which we've got from these last 2 results, and just build something again, like we did not long ago when we were on that run, didn't we? 9 games on the spin. Could do that again, couldn't we?
Oh, easily. I
think that takes us up. That should take us up to the Barcelona game, I think,
yeah.
or around that time. That'll be the tough one. George, before I wrap up there, where can people find you?
JD Simpson 98 on Twitter and Instagram, as always. Yeah.
Yeah, as always, go and check him out. You know where to find him. The new Housewives favourite. He's taking up the mantle from Alex Bagley. Always a pleasure. Thanks for everyone who got involved in the chat. Don't forget as well to hit like, share, and subscribe. We'll have another video out first thing in the morning. We'll have Stephen Houghton's reaction as well to this game. So make sure you're checking that out as well. That's been Jordan. I've been Jay. This has been the review. Manchester United through to the 5th round of the FA Cup after a comfortable 3-1 win over Reading. Thanks for watching.